Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brown Overboard. Doing a live episode today with y'all guys. Been doing a few more lives here and there, usually on days that I also air episodes, new episodes of Brown Overboard on Wednesdays and Sundays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Obviously, today is Saturday. I thought I would jump on and do a live episode of Brown Overboard with y'all guys. And I might also see about going live as well at the same time over on TikTok, which is something that I do sometimes. All right, so thank you very much for joining me today, guys. There are already 80 people. Test. Come on, Mike, work with me. All right, just gotta get the mic working with me. She's being finicky here lately. I gotta replace my cable at some point. I'm hoping it's just the cable. All right, so thank you very much for joining me today, guys. And yes, I assume that y'all guys have, heard what most likely happened. And no, I don't have any updates or any news about it. But it's looking more and more probable is that is actually what transpired. So, like Bear said, when I know something, I'll let y'all guys know. But currently, there's no new news. Currently, it is looking like yes, that he took his own life. There were eyewitnesses, but currently I can't say, 100%. And as everyone knows, I don't really talk about Matt. I don't really discuss it a lot or any of that stuff. He has been estranged from the family for quite a while. And like I always say, when you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped, and you can't save someone that doesn't want to be saved. And unfortunately, that is the path that a lot of individuals go down when they suffer from mental illness and substance abuse and, self-medicating and have those kinds of mental health issues. A lot of people just keep going down that dark path and never find their way off of it. And unfortunately, there is nothing that you can do to facilitate somebody wanting to be better. And there's a lot of stuff, that pertains to those kinds of things. And I'm sure that everyone out there has someone in their life. They know someone, they have experience dealing with someone, or someone that is a part of their family, someone that they dated, somebody that's a relative or a friend. We all have someone that we know that is caught up in those kinds of things and has those kinds of problems. And unfortunately, most people, a vast majority of people that have those issues, just keep going down that path, and you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. Well, obviously, mom is the most devastated. I haven't really gotten to talk to her yet, and I do know that there being no real closure at the moment on the issue is one thing that is difficult for mom. All right. So I hope everybody's having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Life keeps on going, and you just have to, be thankful for who you are and where you are and how you're living your life and your existence, and be thankful for that. because that is the thing at the end of the day, because you can't make anyone else what you want them to be. You can't make someone not be who they are or want to be better. The only thing that we can ever control in this world is ourselves. The only thing that we can ever control is our own mind, our own body, our own actions and words and deeds. That's it. That's all we can ever control. And the fact is, the truth of the matter is that it doesn't matter who we think we are. It doesn't matter who anyone else thinks we are. All of that is just an illusion and a representation of the fact of who you actually are. The reality of who you are is what you do. It is your actions, your words, and your deeds that echo through eternity. That is the real you. Everything else is just an illusion. Everything else only exists to you, or it only exists in the minds of other people. The reality of who you are is what you do and how you live your life, and the decisions and choices that you make and how those affect the reality of others. All right, I'm gonna see if I can get the live going on TikTok as well. Might as well run them both. Also, if y'all guys are in here, click the thumbs up button. Click all the buttons. If you want to be notified when I do lives and new episodes come out and all that stuff, you do have to click the thing so it'll tell you when I'm doing stuff, so you'll get notified. Hold on. Special shout out to Hank Forever 7525. Thank you very much for that. Uh, Anything that anybody throws in the tip jar goes right back into the podcast. So it is appreciated the way that y'all guys, help creators and stuff. I think it's really cool that people can help creators and entertainers and podcasters and people who are, putting content out there. If you enjoy it, for people to be able to help those people continue making that content. It's no different than buying a movie ticket or being an investor in somebody's endeavors in the entertainment industry. So it is appreciated. And whether y'all guys are throwing something in the tip jar or clicking the like button or giving a thumbs up or telling a friend about the podcast or watching the episodes, asking questions, leaving comments, whatever it is y'all guys are doing, it is much appreciated. And it does help the podcast grow. And I'm very serious about continuing the podcast. I enjoy doing it, and I would do it even if I didn't have anyone watching it. But it is really cool that so many people are enthusiastic about it. So many people are watching it and enjoying it and leaving comments and questions. And so right now we got 121 people in here, but only 47 thumbs up. So if you're enjoying the live, if you're part of the live, if you're in the comment section, go ahead and click that thumbs up button, guys. It does help the podcast. And I know there's a like button and a thumbs up button. I think it's two different things on YouTube. I still haven't ascertained exactly how that works. I really should look it up and figure it out. Yeah, don't touch the mic. No, that's very true. Currently, I have it held together with some masking tape and a hair tie to keep it up and rolling. I just MacGyvered it back together. I can kind of do this and I can adjust the mic as long as I don't move the bass. But I'm hoping that it's just the cable and it's not the connector on the microphone itself that is messed up. If it's just the cable, it's a new cable, easy fix. If it's the connector, that's a whole nother problem. But currently, the mic is working, so I can't complain. And the sound quality is really good. Well, on that subject, guys, unfortunately, regardless of how things end up playing out, it still doesn't make you wrong for not being a part of that person's life. It doesn't make you wrong for distancing yourself and not enabling their behavior and their decisions and things. And this is something that I've never really talked about, but my dad, put Matt into rehab multiple times. Now, I'm not going to say exactly how many, but multiple times. And the family put a lot of money and stuff towards that. And my dad repeatedly tried to get Matt the help that he needed. And he really refused. He just wouldn't do it. And there were a couple of times that he sort of stuck it out. But it all just didn't work because he didn't want to be better. He didn't want help. He didn't want to, have any of it work in the way that it is supposed to. He didn't want it. He didn't want to be better. And you can't help somebody that doesn't want help. And, God bless him. My dad tried. He tried to force the help. But he was dad. And so what was he going to do? And he just kept doing it. Dad, refused to accept that somebody wouldn't make the difference. Somebody wouldn't choose to take the help and to be better. So I'm not going to say how many times, but dad paid for, the family paid for and dad paid for and rehab multiple times and tried to get him help for other issues as well. Because, again, this is not something that I've really ever spoken on. But it's not just the substance abuse and alcoholism and those things. The mental health issues were a big issue, obviously. And there's very little that can be done in those circumstances if somebody doesn't want help. We are what we choose to be at the end of the day, regardless of all the circumstances, regardless of what's going on, regardless of anything else. At the end of the day, no matter what, we are what we choose to be, for better or worse. All right, my internet was not wanting me to load TikTok at the same time, uh, which I'm trying to run both live. Sometimes I'll run both lives at the same time. I was also trying to run a new so that I can record the live episode of Brown Overboard we're on right now. Uh, so I'm not going to speak on exactly what the mental health, issues and all of that stuff. I'm not a doctor. I am not someone that is, I'm not a licensed practitioner to speak on those things. Also, I don't feel that it's my place to give out that information. It's hit or miss. All right. So we'll see if this works. Sometimes I just try to do the live thing at the same time on both of them, and we'll see how this works. I've also been messing around with other like live systems, and there's a thing in our person that does a podcast told me about called Patreon and stuff like that that I'm looking into getting into, but haven't. I have not figured that out yet. Yeah, so if y'all guys haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Click the button. There are buttons everywhere. Push all the buttons. Push all the buttons. All the good buttons. I think there are bad buttons also. Only push the good buttons. And whether y'all guys are throwing something in the tip jar, whether you're liking, subscribing, telling a friend about the podcast, or you're giving a thumbs up and all that good stuff, it all helps the pod. So it's much appreciated, guys. Well, no, I actually disagree with that. People saying that social media has a negative impact on those kinds of things. I disagree. I think that that's just a scapegoat that people use. I think that people just use that as a way to say, well, this is a negative thing. Because all throughout history, every time there's an advancement in technology in that way, people always try to paint it in a bad light. Not saying there aren't negative contexts to a lot of things in that way, but I definitely disagree that overall social media is a bad thing. I think it's definitely a good thing. One of the great things about it is the fact that it allows anyone to put themselves out there, whether they're an entertainer, whether they're somebody that is, whether they're an entertainer, a philosopher, a podcast host, an influencer, somebody that wants to make movies, whatever it is. Modern technology, social media, all of those things allow people to put themselves out there in that way without having to fit into someone else's box of ideas or having other people's permission or having some, big conglomerate or big business, tell them it's okay to do it. So I definitely think there's more pros than cons when it comes to social media and the advancements of that kind of technology. All right. Hello, everybody over here on TikTok. I am doing a live also over on YouTube. I'm doing a live episode of Brown Overboard, my podcast. So I won't be able to pay as much attention over here on TikTok, but I will look in on y'all guys every now and then. So thank you very much for being here for the live. And I was just letting everybody else know that no, we don't have any updates about what happened. We don't know for sure. It's looking like it's true. It's looking like it's true, and that what Bear said is accurate. So And Bear's just trying to give everybody the heads up and the information, and we know that there are a lot of people that are invested in our family and our life and the way that we live. And y'all guys have been on that journey with us. A lot of y'all have just found our show, just found our life and all that. But a lot of y'all guys have been on the journey with us since the jump, or have grown up watching the show. There's definitely an attachment that people have, and they're part of the experience. And Bear, above everyone, really acknowledges that and appreciates it. Okay, hold on. It's telling me. All right, it's telling me that there's an error and there's more than one ingestion is using the primary URL. Send one stream to the primary. I'm not exactly sure what that means. I don't want to stop and try and look it all up and figure it out. So y'all guys let me know here on YouTube if there's a problem with the screen, or if you can't hear me, or if it's glitching or any of that. If y'all guys would let me know in the comments if it's working. Just let me know. All right, and everybody over here, thank you very much for joining me. You can check out Brown Overboard. I'm also doing a live over on YouTube as well. Brown Overboard is my podcast. So no, there is currently no new news, and it's also been very bad weather in this area the last few days. So they haven't really been able to keep searching. And I also want to say that I know there are. All right, hold on. So it's fine. It seems to be working fine. Okay. Well, the little glitch is because I'm running off of this stupid camera on my laptop. So I'm just using the built-in camera. I haven't figured out how to hook it up to a different camera, because I have other cameras, but I haven't figured out how to make that work on here. So I'm just using the built-in camera on my Mac 2016. So it's not the best camera in the world. And I do also want to say to everybody over here on TikTok and everybody over here that there are a lot of fake accounts out there. So there are, hundreds of fake accounts of myself, and I know there are fake accounts of Matt as well. So like a lot of those are like fake accounts trying to contact people, or reposting his videos and stuff like that. And I actually even recently saw that like TMZ was reposting videos and stuff, which I think is sleazy. I don't think that's cool to be like harvesting, the videos and things and using that for clicks and stuff. It's one thing if you're like an internet troll and you're doing that. It's still scummy. But when an actual like verified, well-to-do, I mean, they're a gossip magazine and outlet, but still they're wealthy, they're well funded, they're well recognized. And when they start behaving in the same way as an internet troll, harvesting, people's videos and re-putting them out there for clicks and for content, that's really sleazy, and they shouldn't do that. Even from a place like TMZ, I would expect better. Because when you're in with journalism and you're going to put yourself out there, even if it's gossip journalism and it's celebrity journalism and that kind of thing, there is still like a standard you're supposed to set and live up to. And big businesses like that and stuff shouldn't lower themselves to the standard of a regular internet troll. They should live up to a little bit higher of a standard. Let's raise the bar a little bit. I would expect better from places like that. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me for the live. Whether you're over here on the TikTok live or whether you're over here on YouTube, thank you very much. And thanks for all the clicks and likes and thumbs up. And whether you're throwing something in the tip jar or liking, subscribing, commenting, or whatever, it's appreciated. It does help the podcast grow. So, guys, I know over here it's my channel, Respect the Danger, which is my personal whatever channel. I'm also on a live for doing a live episode of my podcast, Brown Overboard. And dang, the comments are flying so fast over here on TikTok. It's near impossible to even read them. No new news, guys. No news. It's looking like what Bear was saying was accurate. And Bear, again, I will say that Bear is just trying to give The Bear is just trying to give people information. He's trying to keep them, updated and stuff. And also, Bear realizes the reality that most internet trolls, news rags, gossip columnists, all of these people, they're all going to be, grabbing a hold of as much of this as they can. And Bear would rather get in front of that. Bear would rather be the guy that is like appropriately giving people information and doing that kind of thing. So everybody should definitely leave Bear alone because he's doing what is appropriate for him and appropriate for the fans and people that want to know. And I know that places like TMZ, places like that, the gossips and stuff, and all the internet trolls and stuff, they're not going to wait for someone to like actually put out a statement or say something. They're going to just grab a hold of everything and do whatever they want to do, right? Everything that they think is going to give them more likes or clicks or more attention and sell more advertising space. So in that regard, Bear is just doing what Bear thinks is best, and a lot of y'all guys are very invested in our lives and our world and our show. And regardless of what people want to think, Alaskan Bush People, the show is just documenting our lives like we are real people. That I am trying to break into acting and do all that, but as far as our show, that's just us, guys. That's just us living our life, and it was completely real. And I think it's easy for people to get skewed into the acceptability of how you talk about or treat someone based off of where and how you know them, and the fact that someone has put themselves out there in that way, and especially for that amount of time. Like, obviously, that when you step in front of the curtain, there's going to be, that kind of attention. If you're not an idiot, that that baggage comes along with it. Or if you're not naive, you don't have, let me re-say that, because some people are just naive to the reality of the experience and how it works when you put yourself under the spotlight, when you step out in front of the curtain, as I always say. But when you do that and you realize what you're doing, it does come with the territory that there's going to be that kind of attention put on you. And you can't put yourself out there in that way and then complain when people notice. So I don't think there's anything wrong with, Bear giving updates and stuff like that, and doing the way that he does. Because that's, there are a lot of people that care about the family, and they're concerned about, everybody and how things are going and all that stuff. And that's cool, you know? So I don't really, somebody's asking about mods and stuff. I don't really do moderators and things. Bam plays it fast and loose. Fast and loose, guys. I just throw it out there for two reasons. One, because I just don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm completely unaffectable. I'm impervious to anyone's opinions. I absolutely just don't care. I never have. I actually can barely even wrap my mind around the concept of caring what anyone thinks about me. The second reason is because it's just more fun. The only time that I do kick people, or the only time that I do mute people or put people in times out or anything like that, the only time I do that is when people are attacking other people. Like, say what you want about me, but leave my horse out of it. All right, hold on, guys. I'm bouncing between two lives. So I'm doing a live over here with y'all guys on YouTube, and I'm also doing a live over here with y'all guys on TikTok. So whichever live you're part of, thank you very much for being here. I'm doing a live episode of Brown Overboard, which is my podcast, just talking about everything. And as everybody knows, I don't really talk about, hold on. I'm picking up some interference. I got to move some cables around. Starting to feel like some kind of Android. There are so many chargers and cables and things I got to deal with. So as everybody knows, I don't really talk about, the mat stuff and all of that. Really, all I've ever said is the same thing. I always say that you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. But there is no update. There's no update currently. It's looking like it's true. It's looking like that is what happened. So, for mom is definitely taking the hardest, and largely because there's no closure, because we don't know 100%. But with the way it's looking and everything, and the eyewitnesses and all of that stuff, is looking like it's true. But you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. All right, so thank you guys for joining me for the live. Thank you very much for being here. Well, currently, right now, yeah, and I will address to the point that I feel appropriate, and that is my prerogative. All right, shout out to everybody that is here on the live on TikTok and everybody over here on YouTube that is on the live. Oh, I missed this. Shout out to Frontier Mountain. Thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. Uh, I mean, it is accurate to say it's like I say into the mirror every morning. Everybody's got problems, but the real key thing is that you have to want to be better. You have to want to better yourself, want to be a better person. You have to move through life in a way that is not embracing the darkness. You have to move through life in a way that leaves things better and not worse. And the thing is that a lot of people succumb to the darkness. A lot of people willingly walk down that path and just keep going, and they never get off of it. They never turn around. They never stop, because the thing is you cannot help someone that doesn't want to be helped. You can't. And I will say, and I haven't ever talked about this before, is that my dad tried repeatedly. My dad was someone that tried to force people to be better and to want to better themselves, and he didn't want to give up on Matt. He didn't want to stop trying, and the family paid for. My dad paid for and put him in rehab multiple times. I'm not going to say how many times. I'm not going to say that. Uh, but he had other issues besides substance abuse. Also, so everybody wants to act like it was alcoholism and substance abuse alone, and I'm not going to go into any kind of defining anything, but there are definitely mental health issues involved. And anybody out there also, I want to say, that is struggling, you can do better if you want to. You can seek help. You can find help. There are ways. There are people, and you just have to want to find that. You have to want to be better. You have to want to better yourself. You have to want to get help, and you can. It doesn't matter how bad you are. It doesn't matter how far down that path you are. You can stop. You can be better if you want to be. All right. Shout out to Mike 2767. Thank you very much for that. That goes right back into the podcast. Yeah, just having some water, guys. No mocha today. Well, I had a mocha earlier. Just not having another one. All right. So I hope everybody out there is doing well. I hope y'all guys are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm gonna adjust my chair. Oh, there we go. Oh, excuse me. All right. So if y'all guys are not subscribed to the channel, definitely subscribe. It's completely free to subscribe to Brown Overboard on YouTube. If y'all guys want to push the button and subscribe, definitely give a thumbs up. If you're here, if you like the podcast, push the buttons, the good buttons. Push all the good buttons. And you do have to click the thing to be notified for when I put out new lives and new episodes of the pod. And for y'all guys over here on TikTok, I'm also doing a live on YouTube, live episode of Brown Overboard. Brown Overboard is my podcast. And I can guarantee better audio quality over there because I got my mic hooked up. There's a way to hook it up over here on TikTok. I can't run them both at the same time. And I'm looking into how I can use the microphone on TikTok and make that work, because I think I can just run lives for TikTok off of my computer the same way that I'm currently doing it for YouTube over here on the episode. But I'll have to figure that out. All right, so thank you very much for being here, guys. Thank you for all the likes and the tapping on the screen and the stickers and whatnot. do appreciate it. No updates, but yes, it does look like it looks like it's true. Which is a very dark ending for someone that was going down a very dark path for such a long time. Well, there is, there's always stuff that people don't know. There's always that, and I don't talk on the subject. I never really have. All I've really ever said, and all I continue to say, is you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. Can't save someone that doesn't want to be saved. And I think everyone has someone in their life that they have that experience with. Everyone has an ex, an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. Everyone has an uncle or an aunt or a parent or a brother or a cousin or a neighbor or a friend. Everyone knows someone that suffers from those kinds of things. And everyone has some connection and experience to those kinds of things. And when you're talking about mental illness and substance abuse and all of that stuff, it's a deep, dark subject, and it is something that a lot of people uh, are unable to fight against and succumb to it. And a lot of that is because, you know, as much as people might not want to acknowledge this, a lot of people don't want to be better. A lot of people don't want to be saved. They don't want help. And as messed up as that is to think about, it is very true. And the thing is that also you can't get guilted into being someone that enables the behavior, being someone that goes down that path with them. No matter how it ends, no matter what happens in the end, you're not responsible for that. That's not on you. You can do everything right. You can be that person all the time, and it doesn't mean that it's going to change anything for that person. And it also doesn't mean it's wrong to try. It doesn't mean that you need to immediately cut everybody out of your life that is struggling or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. Everybody has to make those decisions for themselves. You have to decide when it's the time to close the door. You have to decide when it's time to walk away. You have to decide what is an appropriate amount of help or how you're going to help, or if it's something that you are capable of doing or want to do, or any of these things. And there are degrees and differences as to who's going through what and what they're going through at the time. And it's really hard for anyone to say, what someone should or shouldn't do in certain moments. All you can do is what's right for you. You can do what's right for you. And as long as you're trying to be, the best version of yourself that you can, and move through the world in the best way that you can, then that's what matters, because you can't control anyone else. You can't change someone else. You can't make someone a different person or a better person. You can't make somebody want to do something. And that doesn't matter whether you're talking about going to rehab or whether you're talking about working out or eating healthy or anything else. There's no way that you can change who and what someone is. You can't make the decisions for them. You can only do it for yourself. The only person in this world you are ever going to be able to alter or control is yourself, your own mind, your own body, your own willpower, your own spirit. You are in 100% control of that, and you're 100% responsible for that as well. Because on that subject, regardless of the problems you might have, you are still responsible for who and what you are, because you are what you choose to be. It's that simple. I can't comment on that because I don't know. I have no basis to say anything about that. All I'm gonna say is mental health issues. I'm not a doctor. I'm not able to diagnose people or anything like that. And also, any information that I do have, I'm not going to go into that. It is not my place to say. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here for the live. Thank you very much for being here for the live episode of Brown Overboard. Thank you to everybody over here on TikTok that's joining me for the live. Everybody over here on YouTube that is joining me. Currently on YouTube, we have 276 people in here, 183 thumbs up. So thanks, guys, for joining me for the live. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. I've always thought it was really dorky when people are like and subscribe and follow. But for the podcast, I do it anyway. And the reason I'm referencing the pod, guys, over here is because I'm doing a live episode of Brown Overboard over on YouTube at the same time I'm doing this live here on TikTok. So over here, thank you very much for all the stickers and the likes and the hearts and the tap in the screen. Do appreciate it. And if y'all guys want to check out Brown Overboard, my podcast, it is on YouTube. It's completely free to subscribe. I have almost 80 episodes of the pod I've recorded so far. Somebody's asking about what is that? Would I raise kids the same way I was raised? Absolutely 100%. There's the way I was raised made me who I am, and it was an awesome way to grow up. I think it was a completely awesome way to grow up. And there are pros and cons to any way that you're going to grow up. There are pros and cons to any way you're going to live your life and where you're going to live your life and how you're going to exist. There are always going to be pros and cons. But in my opinion, the way that I grew up was magical. And the world that I lived in afforded me the opportunity to be a very rare individual, someone that is not uh, definitely not the typical person. The way that I view things, the way that I look at things, my personal experiences. Now, I admit my skill set doesn't fit very well into the modern world, uh, but in a post-apocalyptic world, I'd be a king. In this world, I might be this close to being a bum, but post-apocalyptic, I'd be a king. Very good at surviving. But no, the way I grew up was awesome. A lot of people have asked about like homeschooling and stuff because I was homeschooled, obviously, and I definitely think that afforded me the opportunity to appreciate learning and to appreciate knowledge. And it's the reason that I've grown into being an autodidact throughout my life because I never stopped learning. I didn't get through a school and be like, okay, done now. I just kept learning the things that I'm really interested in. I don't have any updates about Matt, but it is currently looking like it is accurate. Yeah, that the news is true. And if y'all guys follow us on the different social media and stuff, you'll get updates when we know. And I know some people were trying to say that it was tacky or whatever of like Bear to talk about and stuff, but he knows the reality of being in the public eye is the fact that there are definitely going to be like gossip articles and news rags and internet trolls and all these people fishing for any kind of information they can and putting stuff out there and misinformation and everything else. So Bear feels obligated to, the fans and people who have been following our life for so long that he should give accurate information and that he should be the one to deliver that information, not TMZ and not places that are, just farming for content and clicks. Uh, well, I will say that, I'm not going to lie and say that, Matt and I were, incredibly close in that way. And we had been estranged for a very long time because, I'm not someone that facilitates or enables people to be that kind of person. It's not something that I allow or will ever put up with. And, you have to close the door. And if you have to close the door, that's on you. That's your decision. That's no one else's. It doesn't matter who the person is. It really doesn't, or how that goes, or what that means also, you know? And everybody just has to make that decision for themselves when you're dealing with that kind of stuff. And a lot of people also they get caught up in the idea of trying to pressure people that they are obligated to go down that dark path with someone simply because of how they're attached to them. And I disagree with that. It doesn't matter if it's your parents or your brother or your kids or your cousin or your nephew or your neighbor or your best friend or anything else. Now, your kids, you're completely responsible for until the point they're an adult. Once they're an adult, that's on them, because you are what you choose to be. Uh, it's looking like it's true, and if it is true, it is a very dark ending to a very dark path, and I know that it would break my dad's heart if my dad were still here. You know, my dad did everything he could for a very long time, for a very long time. You know, my dad went above and beyond. He did everything he could. You can't help someone that doesn't wanna be helped. Well, in some of these comments, I'm just gonna say, "Well, that's just your opinion, man. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but, you know, it's about as irrelevant as last year's snow." All right, so I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you guys having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. And thank you very much for joining me for a live episode of Brown Overboard. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much to everybody over here on TikTok for all the sticker thingies and the likes and the tapping the screen and all that stuff. Y'all guys are awesome. Thank you very much for being fans of the show, honorary members of the Wolf Pack, and for checking out the podcast. If you're over here on TikTok, check out the podcast. It's called Brown Overboard. It's over on YouTube. You can subscribe completely for free. And I know a lot of people have been asking when I'll get the merchandise and stuff up and running again, and my dad's books and all that stuff. I am working on it. And if you follow me on any of my social media, you'll get updated when I have all that rolling again. This is only like the 18th time I've failed to, you know, maintain and facilitate having a website, but I will not give up. I will continue to keep doing it and keep going. So I will let y'all guys know when that's rocking and rolling. And also, with all of the fake accounts that are out there, the best way to know that you're getting the accurate information, you're actually following me. If you go to Instagram and look up "Respect the Danger," the one with the little blue check mark is me. That is my official account, and all of my social media and my podcast are connected to that account. So if you go to my Respect the Danger little blue check mark on Instagram, follow that, and from there you can get to all of my other social media, and that's the best way to follow me and know that you're following the actual me and that it's not just a ridiculous fake account because there are so many fake accounts and so many accounts trying to take advantage of people. And that's really uncool. It really makes me upset, all that stuff, because they're trying to use who and what I am to take advantage of people. And that's not cool. So y'all guys check it out. My socials are all geared to my Instagram called Respect the Danger. It is verified. And from there, you can find my podcast, Brown Overboard. You can find all of my different social media. Somebody over here is saying it's the bots that are the rude people. Unfortunately, no, it's the humans. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if you're talking about the internet. It doesn't matter if you're talking about a small town of 20 people or if you're talking about a town of millions. There are always going to be jerks. There are always going to be people who are mean and mean spirited and want to say mean and nasty things. But the thing is that you have to remember those people that do that stuff, they feel very overlooked. They feel invisible in their lives and feel that they have no control. So what they're trying to do is get attention. They're trying to do anything that they can to get any form of attention. So regardless of what negative, mean-spirited or nasty thing they are saying, what they're really saying is notice me. Someone notice I exist. So personally, I just feel really sorry for those people because it's just a pathetic way to be. It's not cool, and you know I feel bad for them as much as I'm capable of because they're just very lonely, sad people, and they're trying to get any form of attention that they can. So if you're somebody that puts yourself out there in the world and you experience hate in that way and haters and internet trolls and all of that stuff, definitely just ignore it because it's meaningless. It's meaningless chatter. There are always jerks. There's always going to be people saying mean spirited things. You can't change that. Hold on, I gotta plug my, phone in, it's about to die. All of my stuff is really old, none of the batteries work. So I'm constantly having to plug everything in and run around and find cords and cables and all that. Alright, now I gotta figure out how to prop it up because for some reason, they put the charging thing on the bottom of the phone, which doesn't make any sense to me. I tell you, the amount of uses I can find for a roll of masking tape are endless. Like that. Needed sign to prop the phone up, masking tape. Needed sign to fix my microphone, masking tape. Needed sign to help my post-it stay on the wall because it's so dang hot, masking tape. Be sure to get the non-marring. It's the best. I have an iPhone. I have an iPhone. It's an old iPhone. I think it's an iPhone 11. But I use everything until there's nothing left. Why would I get a new one if this one still works? The camera, though, they do sell me on the camera because the really good cameras, I'm a camera guy. I'm a camera fanatic. I love taking pictures and the magic of taking photos and stuff. So that is one way that they get me with the new phones because I do want to get the newest one that has like the really good camera. But I have a really good camera, so I don't necessarily need it. Although for convenience, it is easy to just whip out the phone when you want to take a photo. Okay, that is, completely above and beyond that someone would do that. It is much appreciated and going right back into the podcast. Shout out to JK567 JK. That is very much appreciated, but very above and beyond. Uh, Thank you. Special shout out to JK567 JK. And if you'd like me to shout out your actual name, toss the comment and let me know. All right, guys. I usually curate and keep like over here on TikTok, fast and loose, fast and loose. It's too much to try and keep track of and moderate and all that stuff. Over here on YouTube, I try to moderate a little bit more and keep it clean and professional. The conversation over here in the chat line, but today it is moving really fast, and there's more people than I've ever had in the live. I wonder why. Uh, Over here. So it's difficult for me to keep it clean. So y'all guys behave yourselves. Let's keep it classy. And if y'all guys over here want to check out the podcast is called Brown Overboard. It's on YouTube. You can subscribe completely for free and check out the pod and everything I have going over there. And also I can guarantee the sound quality is better because that's why I'm talking into the microphone because my phone not the best sound quality. I cleaned the speaker the other day, though, so I hope that helped. Uh, okay, guys. Unfortunately, no, it is looking like the news is true. It is looking like it's true. As everybody knows, I don't talk about Matt. I don't talk about the subject more than to say that you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. I do feel obligated in this instance to say that it is looking like the news is accurate and that it is actually true. There were eyewitnesses, and nobody hasn't been found yet or any of that stuff. So I can't say it's not 100%, but it's looking very likely that it is true. It's looking like it's true, and it's a very dark ending to a very dark story. Uh, but you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped, and regardless of the issues that people have, you are still responsible for who you are. You are still responsible for the decisions that you make. Nothing takes that responsibility away. You are still responsible, and you can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. A good analogy is if somebody's holding on to an anchor and they throw that anchor into the ocean and they won't let go of the anchor. There comes a point where you have the choice to let go or to go in the water with them. There comes a point where you just have to let go. You got to close the door. And it's up to everybody to make those decisions for themselves and how they want to live their life and where that line is. But you also should remember not to get bullied and pressured into, enabling the behavior and being part of that darkness. I try. I've always tried. I've always tried. Can't say I've always succeeded, but I've always tried. Can't say I've always gone about it the best way. I'm not gonna lie and say that I've always had been the most even-tempered person in the world. But it always came from a place of trying to do the right thing. And I'm not making excuses. It's just it is what it is, right? It is what it is. I've just always tried to do what my dad taught me and be a better person tomorrow than you were today, and a better person today than you were yesterday. And to just keep trying to be the best person you can. And the thing is that if you live your life in the moment trying to make every decision properly that you can and do the just thing and live your life righteously, then even if you make the wrong decision, you can still be comfortable in the decision you made because at the time you were not doing it because you were being selfish. You were not doing it for selfish reasons because I think that all evil comes from selfishness. You were doing it because you were trying to do the right thing in the moment. So even if you fail, as long as you're trying to live your life righteously and be a good person, that is what counts. Because, like I was saying earlier, it doesn't matter who you think you are. It doesn't matter who anyone else thinks you are, because all of that's an illusion. It doesn't exist. The person you are in your own mind doesn't exist. The person that you are in the minds of everyone that knows you exist is not real. That's not a real thing. It's just a fabrication of their interpretation of your existence. The only thing that really dictates who you are is what you do. It is what you do and what you say and how you behave and how you interact. Those are the things that define who you are. It's what you do that decides who you are. It is your words, your actions, and your deeds that will echo through eternity and nothing else. All right. Somebody over here. Well, shout out to Brian Hepworth. Thank you very much for that. That's going right back into the podcast. Special shout out to you. And with that, you were asking, do I think it was possible for Matt to be saved? And to that, I will simply say only if he wanted to be. All right. Someone else is commenting, you never turn your back on family ever. But that's not accurate because family is not about blood. Family is loyalty. Family is about having the best interest of people at heart. Family is about being there for each other, having each other's back. And that's a two-way street. It's not, I was born to this person or we share DNA, thus I'm chained to them for all of existence. That's not how it works. And that can clearly be shown in instances where people are adopted or where people are, raised by people that they have no relation to whatsoever, or people who are comrades, people who are brothers in arms, people who have, who are friends from childhood, and they might as well be brothers. What is the difference in those two people versus someone who actually shares DNA? It's loyalty, it's connection, it's steadfastness, it's being there for that person. Being related to someone does not obligate you to walk down that dark path. It absolutely does not. And people that try to say it does, they don't understand that there is a point to which you must close the door. You must walk away. And it doesn't matter if it's your parents, it doesn't matter if it's your brother, it doesn't matter if it's your neighbor, your best friend, or somebody you've never met. It's all the same when it comes to needing to draw a boundary, when it comes to needing to separate yourself from the world that they exist in. All right, hold on. I might over here. It's so fast and loose, and people checking in and checking out and everything over here. It's near impossible to like curate anything over here. I try to keep it a little bit more professional because this is just my TikTok channel. Over here, this is Brown Overboard. So I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to scroll through over here and see what's going on because it's moving faster than I can keep up with. So thank you very much, guys, for being here for a live episode of Brown Overboard. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much to anyone who's throwing something in the tip jar, clicking the like button, clicking the thumbs up, telling a friend about the podcast. It's appreciated. Leaving comments, asking questions, and all that stuff. So it's cool that y'all guys are a part of the podcast. Thank you very much. And the podcast is called Brown Overboard, guys. Check it out. You can subscribe completely for free. Deserve doesn't factor into life. That's not a thing. Okay, my internet's not it's not wanting to work for me. I'm having trouble scrolling, so I think what I'll do is I'll just scroll down to the bottom and then I'll pay more attention and see what it's too fast. It's moving too fast. Hold on. Good grief, everything's moving way too fast. I can't keep up with it. I'm also not the most tech savvy. I'm a knuckle dragging caveman. I'm great with my hands. Really good with my hands. If I can grab a hold of it, I'm really good. All this brain stuff makes my head hurt. Uh, well, that might be where your mind goes, but that doesn't mean it's where everybody else's mind goes. Because again, that's just like your opinion, man. Currently, I don't have any update. Hold on, guys. My phone is now blacking out on me. I think it's overheating too. It is hot where I am. It's hot. Okay. And let me check this other thing I have because I was recording my audio. I just need to pull this down and see where this is. Okay, it's only at an hour, so that's not bad. All right. Someone's saying they began watching the show when we were small kids. Well, I was in my mid to late 20s when we started the show, so I wasn't quite a small kid. I was nearly a full grown man. Dang it! I'm trying to click a button that's jumping around. Da, 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 da. Is there one funny thing? Is that over on YouTube? Over here, I can just mute people. They're just kicked from the live. That's really the only choice I have: leave it or kick them. Over here on YouTube, I can put people in a timeout. So if they're misbehaving, I can just put them in a timeout. It's like, little Timmy, you're going in a timeout, and you can choose like 5, 10 minutes, an hour, 30 minutes, that kind of stuff. So no updates, guys. No updates, but it is looking like it's true. I will say it's looking like it's true. Which is a very dark ending for someone that was going down a very dark path for a very long time. But you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. Cannot save someone that refuses to be saved. Even Superman can't save someone that doesn't want to be saved. It's moving too fast, and my computer won't keep up with it. Over here on YouTube, I can barely scroll to see anything. But thank you very much, guys. We do appreciate all that. We do appreciate it. I know a lot of y'all guys have followed us for a very long time. A lot of y'all guys really, really care and are very attached to, excuse me, the family. So we do appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm not married. I do have a girlfriend. No kids, no pets. Lots of nieces and nephews. Tons of nieces and nephews. So many nieces and nephews. All right. Shout out to Free Throw Guy. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. Going right back in the podcast. Shout out to you. No, people talking about like going and looking in situations like this and everything. You would end up getting in the way of the professionals, the people that are doing that. Also, you're not going to be able to uh, do what they're doing. You don't have the equipment. You cannot facilitate doing what they're doing. Okay, I had this one. I try to keep Brown Overboard a little bit more professional in section. Fast and loose, pretty much everywhere. Very fast and loose over here on TikTok. But for Brown Overboard on YouTube, I try to keep it a little bit more professional. And there's one thing I really don't put up with really anywhere is when people attack other people on the live and they want to be mean and nasty to other people who are on in the comment section. Say what you want about me, leave my horse out of it. But over here on Brown Overboard, I had a person who was just being ridiculous and spamming the comment section, but my internet's not working well, so I'm having trouble like scrolling back and forth to find them. And so I was waiting for it to pop up and I kept missing to click the button. So it's like trying to catch a fly. I just couldn't get the fly with the fly swatter. I kept missing the button, but I just got him and kicked him out because there's no need to be nasty, to other people. Obviously, like I said, it comes with the territory for me. You can't put yourself out there in that way and not expect that kind of stuff. But leave everybody else alone. Well, I've always said try to be nice, never fail to be kind. No, and a lot of that is just people spreading misinformation. A lot of that is people spreading misinformation about the family circumstances and things like that. Either willfully ignorant of the circumstances and wanting to propagate things that are vastly negative, or they're really just very misguided. But neither one of those are healthy or a healthy way to have a mindset or a healthy way to, portray yourself in the world or a healthy way to move through the world, and definitely not a healthy way to leave comments on videos and stuff. All right, somebody over here is asking, "What animal do I think I am the most similar to?" I mean, there's the obvious answer, which would be like a wolf, but I'm gonna go less obvious and say possibly the killer whale, which is a mammal and still counts. And if you know about the killer whale, you'll understand the reference. Uh, no, no, that's not accurate. It has not been found. There is no update. It is looking like most likely it is. Most likely it's accurate, and what Bear was saying is what happened. Yeah, so guys, want to check out my other social media, they're all geared towards my, Instagram account. It's called Respect the Danger. It is verified. It has the little blue check mark. My podcast is called Brown Overboard. It's, over on YouTube. Y'all guys can subscribe and check it out totally for free. I do appreciate all the tippy tapping on the screen and whatnot people are doing over here on TikTok. Thank you very much to everybody over here, for the likes and thumbs up and comments and for being here for a live episode of, Brown Overboard. I do appreciate it. Thank you very much for being part of the show. All right, trying to run multiple things here, and I'm very technologically challenged. I don't know what I'm doing. Just making this stuff up as I go along. All right, we're definitely not going to be doing spamming people over here. Stop it. I am Bam, Josh Bam Bam Brown, the host of Brown Overboard. If y'all guys want to check it out, it's over on YouTube. People asking if I'd like to travel to other countries. Yeah, definitely. It's long been on my to-do list. I've been out of the country a few times, but there are a lot of places that I want to see. I am a gypsy at heart, and I definitely want to travel. I want to travel everywhere, even to places I probably shouldn't. But yeah, I'd like to see it all. Ooh, it is getting warm in here. It's also giving me a migraine trying to focus on these tiny, teeny, tiny letters. Yeah, I don't know why everybody keeps saying stuff like that because that's inaccurate. That's not accurate. No, I cannot confirm anything. I have no new updates about anything. It is looking like it was it's like it's true. The cookbook is coming along slowly, slowly but surely. I'm working out all the time. It's a back burner project, pun intended, but I do really enjoy doing it. And I'm up to about 27 recipes that I've done now. And a cool thing I'm going to do when I start recording the recipes, because I have to catalog them and I'm doing all the photos and stuff for the recipes myself. So when I get to the point where I'm cooking them to take the pictures, I'm also going to record myself cooking them for two reasons. One, well, I guess 3 reasons. 1, because I want to. 2, because it will help me catalog how I actually make the meal, so I can then write that into the book. And 3, because I thought it would be cool to do a little cooking show, Cooking with Bam. Oh, excuse me. My old man and I used to, watch a lot of cooking shows and those kinds of things. Always thought they were cool. And I love to cook. Cooking is my, something I really enjoy, and apparently I'm very, very good at. I used to be more modest, but after every person that's ever eaten anything that I've cooked told me how good it was, I've become less modest, and now I just say, "Yeah, I'm a very good cook." And I love it. The kitchen is my happy place. Shout out to Susie Q. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. Thanks for being a fan. Thanks for being a fan of the show and an honorary member of the Wolfpack. And thanks for being a fan of Brown Overboard, the podcast. Do appreciate it. And so y'all guys know, yes, I am working on lighting and stuff. I'm trying to work on better lighting and whatnot. It was not the highest priority to have great lighting, and I'm trying to get a new cable from a mic, put that together. That's probably the next thing I need to do, just so I can like remove the masking tape. It's kind of silly, and eventually get a second microphone would be cool, so that I can actually like do the guest thing. And because if I bring like when Gaby's on the pod, it's one thing for us to just share a microphone. That's fine. But if I'm gonna bring other people like actually in the room talking, then I'm gonna need a second microphone. So I'll get there eventually. Hold on, I gotta prove I'm not a robot. All right, there we go. All right. I do a couple different chicken liver recipes actually. It's not the liver's definitely not my favorite. It's really good for you though, and I do a couple different recipes with it. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate everybody and all their support for the family and for my mom and for everything and for y'all guys, being honorary members of the Wolfpack and being so invested in everything in the family and the show and all that stuff. We do really appreciate it. I don't currently have an update on the Matt situation. All I can say is that it is looking like it's true. Oh yeah, I definitely miss the boat life. I miss it terribly. I will find my way back to the ocean sooner or later. All right, shout out to Jamie. Thank you very much for that. Shout out to Jamie. All right, she's saying that she can usually tell by the smell what her dish needs. That's a good skill to have. And I have any unique cooking quirks. Since I'm just me and I just cook the way that I do, I don't really know if I have cooking quirks or not. I'm very particular with the way that I cook. I don't know if that's a quirk. I mean, one of the best ways to to be a good cook is never serve bad food. If anything doesn't work out, I'm never going to feed it to anyone. One quirk that I have, I guess you could consider it a quirk, is that I wash everything while I use it. Like, so if I use something, I'm gonna wash it basically right away. I think that comes from not having a lot of utensils and things to work with. So I'm always like cleaning them to use on a different dish and a different thing I'm doing. But I'm very particular about keeping the sink clear. Like it's a real thing with me that I hate when there are dishes in the sink. I'm almost pathological about washing dishes. Like if you have a sink and you have running water, if you're lucky enough and fortunate enough and blessed enough to have that, then you should keep the sink clean and clear at all times. That's the way I see it. I used to eat a lot of seafood and I am blown away by how incredibly expensive it is down here. Now, I do also say that if you're not making a mess in the kitchen, you're not doing it right. You're not cooking correctly because there's definitely got to be a mess made. I'm just particular about keeping it clean as you go and cleaning up that mess. All right, thank you very much, guys, for joining me for the live over here on TikTok and the live on YouTube for the live episode of Brown Overboard. If y'all guys want to check it out, the podcast is called Brown Overboard. You can subscribe completely for free. Yes, obviously the authorities are looking and doing the best that they can. And shout out to all of the first responders and all of those people that do all of those things, whether it's the firefighters or paramedics or whoever it is. is, I have the utmost respect, for those individuals. All right, to everybody who's checking in and out of the live, thank you very much. Y'all guys have a great day. Great day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Y'all guys take care. And thank you very much for all the likes and stickers and tippy tapping the screen and all that stuff, guys. Do appreciate it. Oh, dang. We're up to 136,000 likes over here on TikTok. We're up to 348 thumbs up over here on YouTube. So that's awesome. Thank you very much. And thanks for being fans of the show, honorary members of the Wolf Pack, and for being here for a live episode of Brown Overboard. That's funny. Somebody's saying they're feeling a little attacked because they need to go wash their dishes. You wash those dishes. Keep the sink clean. Yes, we're in northern Washington. We moved to northern Washington out of Alaska a little while back. I was voting Maine. I got outvoted. And these days I'm leaning towards disappearing to the Bahamas on a sailboat. Yeah, mom is doing okay. Obviously, she's, devastated. And one of the really difficult things for mom is the not knowing for sure, because there's not the closure there. Somebody's saying they only have paper plates talking about the dish subject. Well, that's no way to live. You can't do only paper plates. There are definitely things I miss about Alaska for sure. Although I always say that I never miss because I'm too good of a name. All right, somebody's asking, what are my top 3 movies? So that is a nice upbeat question there. So my top movie of all time is kind of tied by 2 movies, and it is, the first one is The Fifth Element, with Bruce Willis and Mila Jovovich. It is an awesome, amazing, incredible movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Have watched it thousands of times. It's awesome, and if you haven't seen it, highly recommend. The other one that is tied for first place is called Made in Heaven, and almost no one has ever heard of this movie. It was an old '80s movie. It's super cheesy. It's a romantic comedy drama from the '80s with Kelly McGillis and Timothy Hutton, and it's an awesome movie. I love it. I always have since the first time that I saw it. And my girlfriend's actually one of the only people I've ever talked to that knew what movie it was. Most people have never heard of that movie, but it's an awesome movie. And then if I'm gonna pick a third, it would be closely tied. I know I'm cheating here by tying the third one. Uh, Maltese Falcon or The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Because I've always been a very, very big Maltese Falcon fan. I can say every Bogart line in that movie. And The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is just one of the best movies ever made. It's logistically very, very well made. It's incredibly well shot. The way that it was put together, the way that it was directed, edited, and everything else actually facilitated a lot of the way that future movies were made because of the way they did that movie. So The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is a pivotal movie in cinema itself. But The Maltese Falcon is an amazing movie. So I guess I'm giving you 4 there. The Fifth Element, Made in Heaven, Maltese Falcon, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. If y'all guys have not seen those movies, go watch those movies. Watch them tonight. All right, somebody's saying, asking if I have any recommendation about plates. Uh, Sorry to hear about your house fire. Well, I actually Pottery Barn is where I would suggest, or was it Crate and Barrel? I think it's Pottery Barn. It's either Crate and Barrel or Pottery Barn. Maybe it's Crate and Barrel. I don't remember, but they have really good stuff in both of those places. And the thing is that I would rather pay a little bit. Now, I'm not a name brand guy. So I don't put a lot of stock into something being a name brand as to whether it's going to be good or not. However, there are some places that the name actually does mean it's well made. So in this case, Pottery Barn and Crate and Barrel, they actually do make really good stuff. And personally, I'm very particular with things like plates because cheap plates are not going to last. They're going to break. They're going to chip. They're terrible to eat off of. They look horrible. And if you get good ones, they're going to last basically forever. I mean, you're going to have them for a very long time. They're something that you deal with constantly and eat off of all the time. So get the good ones, and then you have it, and then you have the good ones, and you have them with you. So that's what I would suggest. I can't I wish I could remember if it was Pottery Barn or Crate and Barrel, because I also got a cutting board one time from one of those places. I had actually gone down to Los Angeles for one of my acting things. It was on audition. It was one of those where they asked me, "Can I come in on audition?" And I was just like, "Yeah, sure," just acting like I was local. I mean, I didn't tell them I was local, but I just like they might have assumed I was, but I was just like, "Yeah, I'll be down. I will be there to audition." And so I drove down really fast. No, that time I flew. I flew down because I had to be there like the next day. So I just left immediately, grabbed a backpack and went. But while I was down there, I just was going through and checking out the different stores, and I like to go in like Crate and Barrel and stuff and look at the things. And I found a cutting board that was super nice, super nice. It was really nice. I've had it for a very long time now. It's a little heavy and it's a medium-sized cutting board, but I hauled that thing with me in my backpack all the way back to Northern Washington, and it's in my kitchen now. It's a great cutting board. You should always go with wood on cutting boards as well, not plastic, definitely not metal, not glass, not any of that stuff. Go with a cutting board that is made of wood. And what you want to do is just wash it every time right after you use it, clean it very well, rinse it really well, dry it with a hand towel, and then let it dry. Don't put the oil on immediately. Dry it with the hand towel, let it air dry, and then oil it. And it will last you a very long time. A lot of people keep trying to say that there are updates and reports and stuff about the Matt situation, but there isn't. There are no updates at the moment, so there's nothing that I can say about that. It is looking like it's most likely accurate, and that everything Bear was saying is most likely uh, how what happened happened. I can't give out information at the moment beyond what I've already said. So that's all I'm gonna say. All right, so thank you very much, guys, for being here for a live broadcast of Brown Overboard, my podcast. I don't know why the lighting keeps shifting like that. I know I'm using a very bad camera. Like I have a 2016 Mac, and this is the built-in little webcam that I'm using, so that's probably why. And I'm talking about my YouTube live, guys. So I'm doing a podcast episode right now for y'all guys over here on TikTok. I'm doing a live. podcast episode. My pod is called Brown Overboard. It's over on YouTube. You can check it out. Subscribe completely for free. Thank you very much. Yeah, I get a lot of. I have my whole life gotten compliments on my voice, and I am actually trying to utilize the gift God gave me, and I'm doing audiobooks and voiceover auditions and stuff like that, and voice acting work. Well, you have to just keep going. What are you gonna do? You keep keeping on. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for being here for the live. Thank you for all the tippy tapping on the screen. A lot of people say stuff like that do Survivor, that I should go on Survivor. I think Bear would do very well on Survivor. I know Gaby would because he's so likable. Gaby might win because he's very likable. I am not incredibly likable. So that would be a problem for me on Survivor. Secondly, I'm not very good at swimming. Like I can swim good enough to survive, but I'm not very good at swimming. I just kind of sink. I'm very dense bones, I guess. I don't know, but I've never been able to tread water very well. Uh, I'm not very good at swimming. So that would be a problem for me. Who's the best swimmer in the family? Well, dad was, bar none, but my dad was an insanely good swimmer. He was like a dolphin and he could hold his breath for like 5 minutes. I timed it once. Uh, Dad was ridiculous. Second best might be Gaby. Gaby's very comfortable in the water and he really loves to swim. But Bear is also actually really good in the water. The Bear's kind of fearless with that stuff. I've just always had more bravado than brains, but Gaby really likes the water and he's very comfortable in the water. I find it funny that some of the people over here on TikTok that say the nastiest stuff are always from like they don't even actually have like a username, let alone a picture or anything. But also, I will say that it is almost worse. No, it is worse. It is worse. At least those people aren't propagating, negativity and hatred and nastiness in a way that can facilitate other people thinking it's okay. Because I have seen some people that say like just really messed up stuff. And then out of curiosity, out of morbid curiosity, I will click onto their username and their page is full of like pictures of them with their kids. One person was a teacher. There are people with their grandkids and stuff like that. And it's like doing that stuff on your public account and saying these really messed up things. You do those people have to realize, or I wish they would realize that they are going to be giving such a bad example to the people in their life. And they're going to make like the kids in their lives think it's acceptable to be that way, that it's okay. And that's really, really not good. Well, yeah, all you can do is just to ignore it. There are always gonna be nasty people in the world, and one of the only reasons I even talk about it all is because I know that a lot of people are really affected by that stuff. It's impossible for me to be affected by that because I genuinely just don't care about anyone's opinion. Never have, never will. But a lot of people are. A lot of people are very affected by those things. And that's one of the reasons why I do talk about it a little bit. I've actually done a full podcast episode talking about bullying and stuff like that. Because I can't stand bullies of any kind. Oh, shout out to Emerald Sea. I like that username. That's a good one. Shout out to Emerald Sea. Thank you very much for that. You could say that because I do miss Alaska for sure. One of the things I really miss is the fresh water. Like if you haven't ever had fresh, amazing water that you drank right out of a river, then you've never had water, and there's no going back once you have. There's just such a vast difference in the way that water tastes and the water the acceptability of horrible tasting water that people in the lower 48 have and that city people have that they accept. Like when I was in New York, Uh, I had to actually buy, like, large jugs of bottled water so that I could rinse my hair after I took a shower because I couldn't stand how much chlorine, was in the water. It smelled like I had been swimming in a pool. It was just so much, and I couldn't drink the tap water. It was too much. I couldn't do it. The LA water is not much better, but there seemed to be a very high chlorine content, in New York. I'll take the lead over the chlorine. Thank you guys for being here for the live. Thank you for all of the kind words. Thank you very much for all of the care and support and everything y'all guys have always shown, for our family and for being part, of our crazy misadventures. We do appreciate it. Y'all guys are awesome, and I hope everybody's doing well. I hope y'all guys are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. I hope y'all guys are doing good. Well, that is true. Most people wouldn't drink directly from a water source like that, but you can drink directly from creeks and rivers and things as long as it's flowing fast. It's being aerated as long as it is. You never want to drink from anywhere where it's stagnant, and you don't want to drink from water where it pools anywhere and slows down. It needs to be running very fast. And you need to know also that there's no contaminants upstream. Primary contaminant being humans. In nature, it's gonna be fine, but humans are a problem, so you don't wanna drink any water where there are humans upstream, but if you're in the middle of nowhere in Southeast Alaska and you find a nice river that is flowing good and strong and it's all being aerated, you can 100% drink that water. I drank it my entire life. It is the best water in the world, and I wanna say, if you couldn't drink that water, humans wouldn't exist. There would be no life on Earth if you couldn't drink that water. It's not like cavemen were boiling the water before they drank it. Okay, guys, everybody over here on Brown Overboard for the live episode here on YouTube. I want to let y'all guys know that I am trying to uh moderate to an extent the comment section over here because I try to keep it a little bit more professional, and I'm not going to put it with people harassing other people in the comment section. So I am kicking people out that are going to be misbehaving like that. Uh, I don't know why people want to keep saying things like that and pretending that they know because they don't. I mean, obviously, I know why because people are nasty and they're mean and they want attention. Oh, a quick recap of what I've said already would be difficult. I've covered a lot of ground since I've been on here. If you're talking about the Matt situation, I don't have an update. I don't have any more information for anybody. It is looking like that is what happened. It is looking like what Bear was saying is accurate to what happened. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to move cords and cables because I'm getting some electrical interference here with my mic. And for y'all guys over here on TikTok, I'm doing a live episode of my podcast over on YouTube, and that's why the microphone and everything is all hooked up, because I have a lot better audio quality over there. Yeah, the YouTube is called Brown Overboard. Obviously, my mom is very very brokenhearted, and one of the hardest things is not having any form of closure about it. So that's obviously difficult. Well, unfortunately, especially when there are, tragedies and things that happen, and when there's stuff that goes on like that. Shout out to Cam. Thank you for the sticker thingy. The people are going to latch on, and nasty mean people are going to latch on, and places like TMZ are going to latch on, and there are all these people trying to thrust themselves into the public eye or get attention from it, or profit from those kinds of things. And that's unfortunately just the nature of some humans. A lot of humans inherently are selfish, greedy, stupid creatures. And that is what happens. Hold on. I don't know what that was. I don't know a lot of this technology, guys. I don't know what it's telling me. Someone is asking topic of discussion. It's just a live Q&A, mostly just me, pontificating into a microphone about anything, everything, and nothing all at the same time. So not a lot of, I just make it up as I go along for the most part. Like when I do full episodes and stuff, I do have, the thing I'm talking about, and I have the topics that I'm covering. In this instance, this is just me sitting down, having a conversation, talking to y'all guys. Okay, someone is saying that my sound over here on TikTok is horrible. I do have a very old phone, and the mic is not the best. It's not great. So hopefully y'all guys can hear me okay over here. Yeah, we still have the mountain property here in northern Washington. Still trying to build it up. It's a very slow go. No, this is my actual channel. This is live. You are currently watching me live right now. Okay, thank you for letting me know that the sound is good over here, because I do know a lot of people sometimes blame the quality when it's them, when it's their speaker and stuff that doesn't work. Obviously, that's most likely just a misunderstanding on their end. So that's fine. No, I don't have any updates, guys. I have no updates. Well, and somebody's commenting over here that there's a lot of hate out there nowadays, but the thing is that, life is not it's not like there's worse things now than there ever were before. Uh, if you study history and you study, humans, then you understand it's very circular. And one of the things that makes it feel that way now is because you're living through it. So you exist now. So that makes it seem that way when there are things that are negative, and when there are, things like that. Also, the fact that the amount of information travels a lot faster, and there's a lot more accumulated information for when things happen. So that is something that things like that are way more documented than they ever have been in the history of time, as far as we know. But also, a lot of people overlook like the magic of modern technology that it does provide. Like medical care, glasses, medicine, the a shower, plumbing, hot water, penicillin, all of these things. People way overlook it, and everybody has a tendency to romanticize things in a way from where they're not living, from that don't exist in their viewpoint, that aren't here and now, romanticizing past or future, as opposed to appreciating the good of the now and what they do have. And there's pros and cons, and there's ups and downs, there's good and bad, and that's the case that has always been throughout all of history and always will be the case. That's just how it is. Y'all guys want to check out the podcast? It's called Brown Overboard. It's over on YouTube for free. Check out my almost 80 episodes that I've recorded. No, I do not have any news or updates. Uh, if anyone is saying that about me, they're probably confused about the news about Matt, which I cannot confirm 100%. It is looking like it's accurate. It is looking like that's what happened. I do audiobooks, and I'm trying to break into the voice acting and voiceover work and all that stuff. God gave me a gift with my voice. I should use it. I just try to look at everything from a third person perspective and remove my own biases and my own way of seeing things out of the equation and just see things for what they actually are. I've always been very good at removing myself from what I'm looking at and just see it from a third person perspective. A lot of people are either not capable of doing that or don't actually want to do that, because when you do that, you have to accept the reality with which you are presented. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. You have to accept the reality for what it is. But I believe it was Miyoshi Musashi that said that you have to, I'm gonna paraphrase here, that you have to embrace reality for what it is or live a lie. Miyamoto Musashi. Well, that is actually not an accurate representation of hosting a podcast or having this kind of discussion with people. And you're entitled to your opinion, even if it's wrong. But opinion, like last year's snow, completely irrelevant. All right, thank you very much, guys, for being here for the podcast episode, for being here for the live on TikTok. Thank you very much for being fans of the show and honorary members of the Wolf Pack, and for being part of this crazy, beautiful, insane, miraculous thing we call life, and for coming along with the on the ride with myself and my family. Well, I don't know if I've ever been accused of being an intellectual before. How often do I do live episodes of Brown Overboard? So I've been doing them more and more often. Usually, I just do a live after each episode. So I will do a live Q&A following the new episode of the podcast. So it's on Wednesdays and Sundays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, that I typically will do live episodes. But I have been doing more here lately. but I don't actually have a set schedule. One thing I've been trying to do both with my TikTok lives and my live episodes of Brown Overboard is to go live at different times. So that because we have a lot of fans, a lot of people are very interested and want to experience the lives, but they're from different parts of the world, and so there are a lot of different time zones. And so I'm attempting to do some more lives early in the day, middle of the day, afternoon, late afternoon, evening, super early morning or late nights, and just to give everybody a bit of time, and opportunity to participate. But no, I don't have a schedule of any kind. I kind of make it up as I go, but I do new episodes of the pod every Wednesday and Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. That is a schedule I set and have managed to stick to since I launched the podcast. I'm actually very proud of myself for having stuck to that because, bam, ask anyone, not good with a schedule. Well, appreciate that, guys. Appreciate all the positivity, all the love and support, and all the care and everything, and all the kind words that y'all guys throw out there. It's much appreciated. It does not go unnoticed. So I can't give out any more information than I already have, but it's looking like the reports are true. That it is accurate what happened, but I don't have any follow up for y'all guys. No, I totally get it why everybody is, asking and why everybody is curious and why everybody wants to know and all that stuff. Obviously, y'all guys are, a lot of y'all are invested and have been invested for a very long time in my family and with all of us. And I know how invested, someone can get in like fictional characters in things, let alone when you follow someone's real life, when you're following someone's actual existence and a family's actual story as it's unfolding. Uh, I can see how you could get attached. And we do appreciate all the kind words and the fact that y'all guys care like that. I mean that's cool. Well, we were very fortunate and blessed to have had 2 amazing, wonderful, great parents. A lot of people are not that fortunate, a lot of people are not that blessed, a lot of people don't get that. A lot of people don't get that at all, and I've always tried not to take that for granted. I've always tried to appreciate that, because I can't say they're perfect people. My dad would be the first person to say that he wasn't perfect, but I had 2 wonderful, amazing parents that I never, for even a moment in any of my life had a doubt that they loved me with all their hearts, and they were always there for me when I needed them. My dad had my back no matter what. I was always there. And yes, I miss that guy every moment of every day. And thank you very much, guys, for the tippy tapping on the screen and all that stuff. Much appreciated. Y'all guys are awesome. And thanks for being here for the live. Dang, we're almost up to like 200,000 likes on this live. That's crazy. I'm doing a live episode of my podcast, Brown Overboard, and that's why I'm looking this way. That's why I have the microphone hooked up and everything. I'm just also running a live on TikTok over here at the same time because I thought, why not? Sometimes I do that. to shamelessly self promote Brown Overboard, my podcast. All right, shout out to Kristen. Special shout out to Kristen that goes right back into the pod. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words and the support. Thank you very much. You're awesome. Shout out to Kristen Hutchins. Trying to be particular with how I pronounce like names like that because I have a little bit of an accent and I'm also an idiot with pronouncing names. I've never been good at it. It's one of the reasons why I just nickname everybody. I never really call anybody by their actual name. Force of habit, possible lack of caring, and also just that I'm terrible at remembering or pronouncing names. Somebody's asking if there are any musicians in my family. So my dad could play any instrument and he could sing really well, though he hardly ever did sing. But he could play any instrument, and God bless him, he tried to teach all of us how to play. None of us are very good. Gaby's all right, and he really loves playing the guitar. He's probably one of the best. Bear's very into it. Noah actually can mess around on he can tickle the ivories a little bit. He can play a little bit on the piano. Excuse me. I have messed around really hard in some instances trying to learn how to play a musical instrument. I'm okay with the pan flute. It's one thing that I can play okay, and I just try to make pleasing noises I find pleasant. So I'm okay a little bit with the pan flute, largely because I can carry it around. I also was okay at a time. I was doing all right with the harmonica, but I haven't had one of those in a very long time. With the pan flute, I picked one up in Hawaii years and years ago, and I've had that in my pack. It's a handmade bamboo Hawaiian pan flute, and so I carried that with me for a very long time. So I'm all right with that. One thing that makes it hard to learn the guitar is I keep messing up my left hand. So for nigh on the last 2 decades, I have been messing up my left hand. I tore out tendons. I have nerve damage in my left hand. Recently, I almost cut off my ring finger, the tip of my ring finger on my left hand. It's really difficult to continue to try to practice the guitar when you keep damaging your left hand. I'm going to use that as an excuse. It's a good one. It's also just because I have zero musical aptitude, unfortunately. I really wish I was skilled with music. I really wish I was good at it. And don't let my nice voice fool you because I sing about as well as taking a cat that has laryngitis and beating it with a 2x4. And that might make more pleasant noise than me singing. I am not musically talented. Wish that I was. I really wish I was, but I'm not. No, it would be a bad idea to go out there and get in the way of actual search and rescue teams. That would be a bad idea. I have the utmost respect for those individuals, firefighters, uh, people in the military, first responders of every kind. I have the utmost respect. Shout out to all those people. My condolences. I'm sorry to hear that. No, currently I don't have anywhere to receive physical fan letters or anything like that. I don't have an address for that kind of stuff. And more or less, I've totally opted out of the mail service. I know it was something the family had talked about a lot because a lot of people like sending like actual fan letters and physical letters and things, and that's cool. That's very cool. I'm very very old school. I would go back to swords and gold coins, if society would let me. But no, currently I don't have a physical address for anyone to send anything or a PO box of any kind. Well, I've always said, try to be nice, never fail to be kind. All right, so I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you all guys are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, wherever you are. Hope you're doing well. And remember that no matter what, no matter how dark the day is or what's going on, there is always something to be thankful for. If nothing else, the fact that you're here and you get to experience this crazy, wonderful, beautiful, insane, awesome, amazing thing that we call life and reality. It stopped raining today. It had been a pretty big storm here for a couple to 3 days. All right, somebody's asking about the on the musician subject. So technically, yes, we do have a band, though it's terrible and we're not good at all. Don't make that. I'm not trying to make that sound like we at all should have a band, but technically, yeah, we did. Name our craziness. It's called Mindless Racket. It's a name I came up with when I was like 13 because we just make racket is all we do. It's pretty bad. All right, hold on, guys. I'm getting some kind of notification here. Okay, it was nothing. No, I don't have any updates regarding that situation. So I don't really talk about the Matt subject more than to say that you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. I know that a lot of people are curious about like the estrangement from the family and all of that stuff. And there's a lot that I'm not going to talk about, but obviously, he was estranged from, the family. And there comes a point when you have to remove yourself from the situation. There comes a time when you just gotta close the door and you gotta step away. And I myself am definitely not someone that is going to enable things of that nature. And I'm not going to be part of those things and that kind of existence. And I do know that I hope I'm not talking out of place here, but I know that Bear tried a lot to get Matt back into rehab and to get him the help that he needed. Speak of the devil, here's Bear. Hold on, let me turn up my phone. Hey, Bear. I'm doing good. How are you doing, man? Oh, right, you're getting ready to move. Oh, are you doing that soon? Are you doing that? Oh, June 27th, you're coming here or you're going to Alaska? You're coming here or going to Alaska? Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. Might as well. I know that I know you. Right. Yeah. Well, I'm doing a live episode of the podcast at the moment, but I was running the yeah, that's why the microphone and stuff. I'm doing a live for the podcast. What's that? No, today's Saturday actually. Today's actually Saturday. Well, yes, you usually you yeah, usually I do the episodes on my normal episodes are Sundays and Wednesdays. But I've been doing a few live episodes. I've been doing a few live episodes throughout the week. Right. Well, I know one thing. Yeah, well, and you're a full-time content creator also, it's the same thing as going to work at a construction site, you know? What are you gonna do? Yeah, what exactly. Yeah, I I keep having a lot of people saying that, that there are updates and stuff and whatnot. That obviously there isn't. Right. Yeah, that's mhm. Exactly. Well, and obviously, I don't talk about that stuff, but I know that there are so many people who are so invested in our lives and stuff that, in the show and our family and all that, that I felt obligated to address to a point. Well, and you know that a lot of those gossip rags and stuff are gonna put stuff out, and vultures are gonna swoop in and all that, and see, that's just not cool. Yeah, which is another reason why you put something like that out. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Oh, dang, you're on 6,000. I'm on like nothing. Um, there, right. Yeah. No, I mean there's a whole lot to it. Yeah. Well, mental illness and drug abuse and alcoholism and yeah. Right. Well, I mean, I'll be honest, I've spoken to him in years. But you have to, there comes a point, and everybody has to make the decision on their own, but there comes a point you just have to close the door, walk away. And you know me, I'm not going to enable and I'm not going to facilitate that kind of existence and those things. You can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. Yeah. And it's nobody's place to even have an opinion, you know?
appreciate it. Thanks for helping me. Oh, guys, you're crazy. Catfer, oh my goodness. Catfer, you're like crazy, Catfer. I'm going to have to. Oh, I have done updates, Miss May, but yes. So let me give you an update real quick, guys. I'll follow you back, Catfer. Thank you. That's also a cool name. I like it. So update, guys.
So, guys, I'm on a TikTok live also, and so Bear just jumped on to the TikTok live, so I'm talking to Bear over here as well.
So I'm just going to try to update everybody real quick that are asking. Hey, guys.
Here's a little live inception for y'all guys. Live and live and live.
New update. No one has been removed from. Nobody has been found. Nobody has been removed from the river. Matt has not been seen. Last heard his vehicle was parked in the same area. He's not been spotted. Nobody has seen him. There is no new news. Everything is the same. It does look as if it is him. It does look like it's Matt. Obviously, there's a slight chance that it might not be, but regardless, whoever they are needs to be found. It does, though. I'm not going to lie to y'all guys. It does look like it's him. But there's no. Last heard they were still searching. Yes, I need to double check that. I actually took a nap a few hours ago. I had been up a really long time, and I had been laying down for an hour, 2 hours maybe. Thanks, guys.
Everybody in the podcast is saying hello, and they hope you're doing well, Bear.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Cassie, that is not accurate. Nobody was removed from the river. Nobody was removed. People may have done videos. People may be saying it. They may be insinuating it, but no. Take my word for it. As of last police report I read, nobody has been removed from the river. The search continues. A body has not been found. A lot of people try to chime in for views, which sucks and it's ridiculous. I keep people updated. Honestly, all I have to do for views is jump off a slide and roll. My last running video did over 1 million views. I haven't done one in a little while because I'm doing family stuff, but I don't need that to make my views. I don't need it. I update y'all guys.
You would never do something like that.
I don't need to. I update my life, and I honestly don't need to. I do fine when I just jump off of something and roll.
Well, you document your existence. And also I know you felt obligated to be the one to give people information so it's credible and it's not, and so it's credible and it's not coming from some news rag, or some gossip column.
It's going to twist all the facts. I believe his truck was found and that it is still parked in the same area that it was. I heard he ran out of gas in it. He was seen walking towards it and the river with a gas jug, apparently. Julie, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It looks like it's him. Yeah, it does. It looks like it's him. There's a really, really good. It's much more of a chance it's him than it's not. And also, he hasn't been spotted. There's always a small
test. Is this still working? Yes, still working.
It's possible. But I don't know. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. Well, babe, I'm about to go for a walk.
Okay.
I'll probably be back on later. I'm going to just do a walk, but I'll be back on live. I'm also packing all the stuff up. I'm about to take a bunch of loads of.
All right. It'll be cool. It'll be cool to see you when you get up here.
Yeah, I'll be back too.
Yeah, you'll have to drop on the pod, man.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely do your pod before I leave.
Well, you've been talking about it for a while, so yeah.
Yes, yeah. I've only done the one.
No, I mean, you've been saying how much you want to do it when you get up here.
Yeah, no, I want to do it for sure, man. I want to. It's a good thing. Keep it up. Also, YouTube's really the way to go now. I've been talking to a lot of film people and stuff, and they've been telling me that, which is I've been trying to do YouTube since last year. I mean, I am way here, and I just have all my stuff, but they're all saying like YouTube's the new Netflix. A lot of people are starting podcasts.
Right.
Production company, like I was told by this old production person that they're cutting out the middleman, that they're not going through cable companies or streaming that they're going through YouTube.
Right.
Production companies and camera people are going through YouTube instead.
Well, it's the thing I've said. The thing I've said repeatedly that. Well, and the cool thing about all the technology and this kind of thing is that you don't have to have some billionaire company behind you. You don't have to be Steven Spielberg. You can just put yourself out there and be a creator and an entertainer and do those things. And YouTube is somewhere that really allows you to do that.
It is, and that's one thing too. Like on Netflix, you can't upload something on Netflix. You gotta go through a big corporation to do that. But anyone can upload on YouTube, and that is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I'm trying to be upbeat. I guess y'all guys just want me balling on here, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. much, guys, for the support. I appreciate it. I actually don't watch TV in general, but I do upload stuff on YouTube, and I got some stuff in the works. It is cool that anyone can upload on it. Thank you very much, guys. All right, man. I'm gonna probably jump off of here.
All right.
Do a walk.
Yeah, go do your thing, bro.
Later.
You goofball.
All right,
more, dude. More, bro. All right, so I was talking to Bear over on YouTube. He dropped in for a minute, which is it's a little strange doing the live like that, because basically it's like we're having a FaceTime call, but we're being watched by hundreds of people. Excuse me, is really what it's like. It's the same as doing a FaceTime with someone, but while you're being watched by hundreds of people. So it's a little bit strange. Though we're kind of used to all that kind of stuff. I mean, when you've been in the public eye as long as we have, you get pretty used to it. All right, thank you very much for everybody for being here. Thank you for all the tippy tapping on the screen. Thanks for the likes and the hearts and the stickers, and thanks for the follows. And thank you very much to anyone who's thrown anything in the tip jar. That goes right back into the podcast. It is appreciated. If y'all guys enjoy the pod, give a thumbs up, give a like, give a follow. If you have, a bunch of friends you want to tell about the podcast, you can do that too. Also, don't forget that you have to push the button to be notified if you want to be notified when I put out new episodes or when I'm doing lives. YouTube will only notify you if you tell them that you want to be. So thank you very much for joining me for this live episode of Brown Overboard. Yeah, there are a lot of fake accounts out there that pretend to be all of us. And I was going through and reporting as many of them as I can find, but they pop up, it's like whack-a-mole. They pop up faster than I can knock them down. And then some sites don't take them down. Some sites are not as responsive to me reporting them. Of course, I think one reason is because I'm not verified on some of the other sites. Like, it's been really difficult for me to get verified on TikTok for some reason, even though I have like almost 500,000 followers, and I'm obviously me, and I'm definitely recognizable enough to get verified. I'm verified on Instagram. They did try to sell me the verification on TikTok, though, which I refuse to do. I am absolutely not going to pay or subscribe to something to get verified or any of those things. I will not do that. I absolutely refuse. All right, guys, over here on Brown Overboard in the comment section, let's not attack each other. Do not do that. Be nice to each other. Stop arguing amongst yourselves. Like, I appreciate y'all guys being here and asking questions and all that stuff, but do behave. No, they did say that there were eyewitnesses. I believe they were fishing near the river. All right, hold on, guys. Taking care of something. Not letting me. It won't let me do that. Why is that not working? Yeah. So mom had a bout of pneumonia recently, but she's doing a lot better now. So I don't really talk about I don't really talk about the mat stuff and all of that, except to say that you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. And in this instance, I feel a little obligated to let y'all know that there are no updates or anything. It is looking like what Barrett said is what happened, but we don't know anything else yet. I know a lot of people are asking, like, when was the last time I talked to Matt? We've been estranged for a long time. You got to know when to close the door, when to walk away. You got to know when to draw and where to draw the lines. No, my mom does not have pneumonia. She's prone to getting pneumonia, and she had a bout with it recently, but she's doing a lot better now. Well, like Bear was just saying, he feels obligated to give people accurate information because there are a lot of internet trolls and even supposed, journalist sites and things that give out misinformation and are not, they're twisting things and whatnot for views. And so Bear feels obligated to give people accurate information because a lot of y'all, are very invested in our family and in our lives, and you have followed us for a very long time. Okay, so all right, so this person just won't quit arguing with other people. That I didn't see them say anything overtly incredibly negative. But if you don't stop arguing with other people in the chat box, then I'm gonna have to put you in a timeout. And the thing is, I'm very fast and loose for the most part with my lives. Over on TikTok, it's very fast and loose. It's very quick and everything. Over here on Brown Overboard, we do try to keep it a little bit more professional over here because this is an actual podcast. We are an actual show, and so we try to be professional. I always try to be professional in all that I do. Well, no, Bear does not block people willy nilly. I know that he will block people, but if you got blocked by Bear, you deserved it. Bear is just unapologetically who he is. And thank you very much, guys, for being here for the live episode of Brown Overboard. Thank you for being on the live over here on TikTok. Do appreciate it. If y'all guys on TikTok want to check out the podcast, it's called Brown Overboard. It's over on YouTube. You can subscribe completely for free. And if y'all guys are over here watching the live episode of Brown Overboard, if you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe. Click the buttons. Give a thumbs up. Leave a comment. Leave a like. Tell a friend. We do appreciate it. Whether y'all guys are throwing something. Okay, that was adorable. That was adorable. The little sticker things that pop up on TikTok. No, Bear does not have a team. Bear does all his own stuff. Thank you for that. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of compliments on my voice throughout really my whole life. I've gotten a lot of compliments. I'm trying to use the gift God gave me these days. I always thought it would be cool to be like a rock DJ or a radio host. Up next, we got some Led Zeppelin coming at you, fresh off the vinyl, that kind of thing. But doing the podcast is kind of awesome. Having your own radio show, I'm very into it. And I'm also trying to break into like the voice acting and stuff. And I'm doing audiobooks as well. I already finished the recording for my dad's autobiography, One Wave at a Time. And I'm working on a bunch of other audiobooks. And I'm also gearing up to sell my services to authors to create audiobooks of their works, primarily for people who are independent authors and are struggling to get audiobooks created, because that can be a very lengthy, very expensive endeavor. And it's something that I've gotten really good at. I know what I'm doing. I know how to edit them. I know what file types you need. I know how to put it together. So my audiobook service that I'm trying to launch will be a one-stop shop. So you will get everything that you need for your audiobook in one go. I can't give out any details, but there about the Matt situation anymore that I've already said, but we do not have any updates. It has not been confirmed that it was him, but it is looking highly likely uh, that it was, and that it was self-inflicted. People always ask me what my favorite food is, and like you're asking what my most enjoyable favorite wild food is. Hands down, 100% all day, every day, Dungeness crab. I could eat Dungeness crab from sunup to sundown and never get tired of it. And it has been way too long since I have been able to enjoy some Dungeness. Dungeness is the best. It is my favorite of everything in the world. I really like lobster. Lobster is great. Lamb is one of my favorite meats. I enjoy really all wild game and meat except for moose. I don't like moose at all. And I also don't like uni, sea urchin. Not a fan. Those are two really of the only things like that I found that I absolutely do not like are moose and sea urchin. But Dungeness crab is the best meat ever. It's the best food ever. It's my favorite thing in the world is Dungeness crab. When it comes to food, favorite thing in the world. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely what you would call a foodie because I love to cook, I love to experiment with things, I love to eat stuff that I've never eaten before. Peruvian rice pudding is one of my favorite things. I love it. I've had ceviche, which was really good. I've never had a Korean dish I didn't like. I really like Korean food. Korean food is one of my favorites. I really enjoy Korean food. Korean food is fantastic. I would love to go to Korea and have some authentic Korean food because all Korean food I've ever had really good. I actually stay in Koreatown in Los Angeles every time I'm there. I know that area really well, and so I actually that's where I end up staying every time I'm in Los Angeles. And, like, I don't need a map or GPS or anything. As soon as I get to Koreatown in Los Angeles, it's kind of funny because the last couple times I've been there, I just knew my way around. As soon as I got there, it's like, "Ah, my old stomping grounds, Koreatown." Northern Washington. We're in Northern Washington. I mean, I will say I think that we all knew it was going to end badly and that it was going to end up in, a dark place. It's a very dark ending for a dark road that he had been on for a very long time. Uh, but we all knew that it wasn't going to end well. Those things don't when people don't want to be better, when they don't want help, and you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. Mom's holding up okay. I haven't personally gotten to talk to her yet, but Bear has, and mostly everybody else has. Oh, a good hamburger is fantastic. I love hamburgers. I'm like Bob Belcher when it comes to a hamburger. No, I don't have any updates. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, doing the show was, definitely had its enjoyable parts, its ups and downs, pros and cons, but yeah, overall, it was definitely a great experience. Yeah, rice pudding is always really good. Peruvian rice pudding is the best. Yeah, kimchi is awesome, but I love all the Korean food. And, Thai food's alright. I can't say I like all the Thai food. Pad Thai is wonderful. Thai iced tea, fantastic. Not all of them are created equal. Some are pretty bad, but when you can get a good one, it's hard to beat a good Thai iced tea. There was this one Thai place in, I think it was in Brooklyn, and they had really good Thai food. Pad Thai is my favorite Thai food. Might not be very original, but it's true. But they had Thai iced tea that was fantastic, and instead of putting ice in it, they put frozen Thai iced tea for the ice cubes, so that as it melted, you just got more Thai iced tea. It didn't water it down, and it was really good. It was very good. It's the best Thai iced tea I've ever had. Yeah, so my lighting is terrible, but also the camera here on my laptop is bad. So for y'all guys over here on the live episode of Brown Overboard on YouTube, the lighting is terrible because it fluctuates depending on like where I'm moving because of the camera itself, and then the lighting itself is just bad. But it's primarily because I need a better camera. I have really good cameras, but I have to figure out how to hook them up to the live here on YouTube. Oh, Korean barbecue is awesome. Love Korean barbecue. But again, I like all Korean food. All Korean food I've ever had, I enjoyed. Somebody's asking real Christmas tree or fake. Either one is great. It's the spirit of Christmas that counts. Oh, yeah, I love Thai food. I can't say that I like all Thai food the way that I'm crazy about Korean food, but I definitely like Thai food. My favorite coffee spot in Washington is my own kitchen. I make a mean mocha. I love to grind my own beans and put in all my own ingredients and use cane sugar. And I make a very mean mocha. So my favorite coffee spot in Washington is my own kitchen. I have always wanted to try making my own kimchi. I haven't done it yet. That is a recipe that I want to work on. That is a recipe I want to try and perfect, but I have not done it yet. For everybody asking if it's true about Matt, it is looking like yes, it is looking like what Bear was saying is accurate to what transpired. We don't know for sure. We might not know for a long time. There's been a massive storm in this area, and with everything that transpired, we might not know for a long time. So I don't have any updates. It's not 100%, but it is looking like yes, that is what happened, and it's a really dark ending to a dark story. And as much as we all knew that it most likely was not going to end well, that is still a terrible way for it to end. That is a terrible way for anyone to end. There's really no worse way for someone to uh, for someone's story to end. Yeah, kimchi's definitely something I'm gonna mess around with making sooner rather than later. I'm always mentally off the grid. Does that count? No. Anyone messaging you claiming to be any one of us from the family is it's a fake account. We're not messaging people. There are a lot of people that create fake accounts and try to take advantage of people. That's not us messaging you guys. We have verified accounts. Like Bear is verified on everything. I'm verified on Instagram, and all my social media is connected to that. So anyone trying to contact you, it's not us, guys. Block them and report them. Well, my life has definitely given me an edge that I think a lot of people are missing. Uh, but it is definitely given me an edge. Spam is good in I don't know how good it is for you. Well, you may not have noticed, but I'm not an incredibly emotional person. Yeah, spam is alright, but it's not something that I wanna eat too much of. I'm an au naturel kinda guy. I like my regular meats, beef, deer, lamb. Shout out to, fun to watch. Thank you for that. That goes right back into the podcast. Shout out to you. And to answer your question, yes and no. They're asking, do you think you can love someone and be estranged from them? So it really that is dependent on and a factor of who you are, who they are, what the circumstances are, and that varies from individual to individual, and it depends on your own circumstances in that. So that is really a question that everyone must ask and answer for themselves. All right, thank you guys for being here for this episode of Brown Overboard. I'm gonna be on for a few more minutes, but I will be kicking it soon, and I might be back on later. We will see. But I'm gonna go do a chicken tikka masala for dinner and have myself some food. Answer as many questions as I can get to, as many questions as I feel like answering. This is a Q and A after all. I do not have any updates. The podcast is called Brown Overboard. Y'all guys can check it out over on YouTube. You can subscribe completely for free. I have almost 80 episodes that I've launched so far. I do new episodes of the pod every Wednesday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. I just haven't been able to get in contact. I've spoken to my mom over text a little bit, but I just haven't, been able to actually call. And with where she is, it's hit or miss on the internet, and my internet is terrible and whatnot. But fortunately, Bear has been able to. It definitely bothered Bear, and it's really not cool that mom read about all this, the Matt situation online, as opposed to hearing it from Bear, which is another reason why Bear posted like what he did because mom was already reading about it online. It was already out there, and people skew information a lot. And there are a lot of sleazy supposed journalists. I shy away from even calling them journalists, but there are a lot of people out there who just really think that it doesn't count if it's someone in the public eye, and they think that they can just say whatever they want. And that's not cool when you're like an established thing. It's one thing when it's internet trolls, but when like places that are established and actually backed by a lot of funding and things like that start behaving like internet trolls, well, that just degrades all of journalism for everybody, whether you're talking about gossip journalism, celebrity journalism, or hard hitting journalism. It is all kind of tied together. And if big time established entities do not hold themselves to some kind of higher standard and don't lead by example at all, then that degrades journalism as a whole for everybody, and that's not cool. That's not good. It's not just about the clicks and the likes and stuff, people. It's not just about content harvesting. It's also about having a small degree of decorum would be good. So no, we were not assisting with the search efforts because you don't want to get in the way of the professionals and the people that are doing those things. You don't want to do that. as capable as I might be to do that, it is still the wrong move, because you want to, let the professionals do their job, in this case. And I have the utmost respect for first responders and for those people. And I've known a lot of those people. I've worked with a lot of those people, and it's best to let them do what they do. And especially when you're not talking about search and rescue, you're talking about recovery efforts. That's a different thing. And that's a different thing. That's not a search and rescue. That's a recovery. Well, mom read about online first, not from lack of people trying to get in contact with her, and not from lack of Bear trying to be the first one to tell her, but because of the way that the internet works, because of the way that the information works. And the second that there was any kind of report or anything like that out there, it immediately was picked up by all of these different places and all of these different establishments and all these different internet trolls and all these people who want to glom on to any kind of, celebrity that's out there, anything that's going on that will get them attention or clicks or likes or, eyeballs on their ads. And that's what happened before, Bear could even get in contact. It's looking like it's true. I have no updates, but yeah, it's 99% looking like it's true. Which, as I said before, it's a dark end to a really dark story. Yeah, there have been, massive storms in this area for, like, the last 3 days. Massive storms. Somebody's asking, "How do I deal with hateful comments?" So for me, really the only reason I even speak about it is because it bothers other people. There are a lot of people, I've known people, that it really impacted and affected. There are a lot of people who it's really, a bad thing for. For me, how I personally deal with it is that I don't care. Like, I don't have to deal with it because I genuinely don't care. Like, I'm not affected with it at all. That's not something that I say, like, "Oh, I don't care." Like, I literally just don't care. There's no way for me to be affected by it because no one's opinion matters to me. It absolutely doesn't matter. Love me, hate me, be indifferent to me. It's irrelevant to me. I absolutely don't care. Now, people who like the show, people who like the podcast, people who are always, being so nice and so kind and so many kind words and stuff. Obviously, I appreciate that. I'm not saying I don't care about anybody. I'm saying that, I'm unaffectable by people's opinions because it's never been something that I've ever even registered. Like, I just don't think that way. I am not capable of being bothered by anyone's opinion. It's difficult for me to even, like, imagine being someone that would be affected by it, but I know people are, and that's why I have talked about those kinds of things. Well, I've been a just always been the way that I am. I've always been able to view things the way that I do. I have a very different, I think, perspective possibly than a lot of people. Because I see it, I'm always able to remove myself from the equation, look at it from a third person perspective. I'm just wired differently, I guess, and I just have a different way of looking at stuff. I've also been a student of Stoic philosophy since I was 14. Now, for me, finding, Marcus Aurelius's Meditations at 14 and becoming a student of Stoic philosophy for the last 30 years is not a something that or so years is not something that for me was like, okay, I've found this now. This is how I'm going to think. For me, it was more like, wow, this is illustrating how I already think. right? This is talking in ways that I already understand. And so that's why I became fascinated with Stoic philosophy. And it's something that I've studied since I was 14. And it's something that I think everyone should look into. Everyone should read Marcus Aurelius's Meditations at least once. I've read it like 200 times, but everyone should read it. Everyone should check out that book. There's a lot of people have a very misguided the idea of what Stoic philosophy is. A lot of people think Stoic philosophy means trying to not have emotions or burying your emotions or all of this stuff. No, Stoic philosophy is about being in control of your emotions as opposed to your emotions controlling you. Because if you don't control your emotions will control you. Being a stoic is about being able to understand, process, and control your own emotions and govern yourself as you move through the world and hold yourself accountable and responsible for that. That's Stoic philosophy. You guys should check out Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. And I am working on an audiobook of that as well, just because it's something that means a lot to me. And it's something that I think is really important. And it's obviously in the public domain. It was written by a Roman emperor 2000 or over 2000 years ago. So I am working on an audiobook of that. One reason that I was inspired to do that, well, a couple of reasons. One is because obviously that book means a lot to me. It's something that I think is important. Secondly, I have not found an adequate or very good audiobook of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations so far. There might be one out there that I just haven't found. I'm sure there probably is, but I'm going to do one myself anyway. And that's one that I will probably just put out for free. I'll probably just put that one out there for free because I think everyone could benefit from reading that book. And a lot of people don't have like time to read the book. A lot of people or just aren't going to, but anyone can click a button and listen to an audiobook. So most likely I'm going to put that one out completely for free because I think that it's important for people to read that book or listen to that book. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being here with me for the live over here on TikTok. Thank you very much for being here for the live episode of Brown Overboard here on YouTube. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you for all of your kind words and your support. Y'all guys should follow the podcast, Brown Overboard, here on YouTube. You can subscribe completely for free. Push all the buttons, get notified when I put up new episodes and when I do lives and all that stuff. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you very much for everything. I will see y'all guys next time on another episode of Brown Overboard.